Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking the top 10 scary facts about Disney. Now you guys seem to love our Disney content. They always hit really big. What is it that you like about Disney? You need to tell me, I want to know. Also do let me know your favourite Disney movie. I think that I've decided that more recently my favourite is Brave, but it did used to be Sleeping Beauty. I loved it. Also while you're down there leaving me a comment, why don't you hit that thumbs up button and share this with a Disney loving friend. If you guys want to connect with me on social media, there is a link to my Instagram in the description box. Alright, scary Disney, let's do this. Coming in at number 10, we have Real Human Remains. Back when Walt Disney first opened his Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland, California in 1967, he hated the look of fake skeletons. As he was preparing for the ride, he just thought they simply will not do. Sadly, he did die before the ride opened. Nonetheless, I digress. While we are blessed with good-looking fake skeletons these days, it just simply wasn't the case in the 60s. Instead of going with subpar decorations on one of his main attractions, he decided that he was going to use real human skeletons instead. The skeletons allegedly came from UCLA Medical Center and were poised to create spooky scenes for riders. It is said that as skeleton props got more realistic, all the skeletons were removed, save from one on a headboard of a bed. Others, including Disney employees, swear that there are still a handful of real human skeletons on display on the ride to this day. Disney, as I said, did die before the ride opened, so maybe one of the skeletons is his, although I pretty much just made that up. Coming into number 9, we have the abandoned theme parks. Disney opened up River Country in 1976 at Bay Lake in Florida. However, it was closed unexpectedly in November 2001, where it sits for the most part in disrepair today. The official line on the closing says that it happened because of the increased popularity of other water parks, although a lot of rumours out there suggest it could be something a little more worrisome. Either way, the location is pretty creepy to look at, right? Imagine going there and visiting all of the overgrown flumes. Also, I wonder what else is living there, or maybe even who. Also abandoned is Discovery Island, which was a small zoo until 1999, and now lays wild and inhabited by wildlife. Okay, I didn't realize this when I was a kid, but there is a really disturbing death scene in a Disney movie. We have the hanging in Tarzan at number 8. I remember the thunder, the lightning and the rain of the scene where Tarzan faces off against the colonial pest that is Clayton. Clayton in some way deserves it. He tries to shoot Tarzan and he pushes Jane to the floor. He pursues Tarzan through the vines, but obviously is nowhere near as adept at swinging than him. Tarzan has a choice to shoot Clayton but decides not to. Unfortunately for Clayton, he ends up taking a few wrong moves and then ends up with a vine around his neck. He falls and then we actually see his corpse hanging. I have no idea how I missed this as a kid. I guess it's a bit like the skull and crossbones in Gaston's eyes in Beauty and the Beast. Disney is very subtle with its horrifying deaths, but they are there. Scary. Coming into number 7, LILO is Samara from The Ring. That's right, the actress who voices Lilo in Disney's Lilo and Stitch is also the actress who played the evil dead girl ghost Samara in The Ring. So as cute as you want to find little Lilo, know that actually she will drag you to an untimely death at the bottom of a well. Okay, maybe she won't, but you know, that is a crazy diversity in characters for Davy Chase to play. Scarier still, she's now 28 and was recently charged with drug possession in LA. Coming into number 6, Walt Disney haunts Disneyland LA, or so the story goes. Honestly, which is it though? I thought he was cryogenically frozen. Turns out not to be true, but some say that he does indeed haunt the original Disneyland. Back when he was alive, Disney had an apartment above the fire station on Main Street. When he was in residence, it is said that he always kept a lamp burning in the window so everyone knew he was there. When he died, the lamp was switched off. His apartment remains practically untouched today and the lamp still sits in the window, although initially it was extinguished as a mark of respect. Eerily, it seems that the lamp would turn itself back on occasion. One day, a staff member was cleaning the apartment when she heard a voice that said, "I'm still here." From that day on, Disney's lamp keeps on burning in the window as a mark of respect and acknowledgement for his ghost. Coming into number 5, Disney has regularly been accused of being anti-Semitic. So Disney wasn't always the friendly animator and creator of magic that we all thought him to be. He had a very severe side, and not all of his work was the stuff of fairy tales. Not only was he thoroughly against communism, so much so that he brought people into the House of Un-American Activities, he also had a deeper, darker side. Honestly, the calling out the communists is one thing, but he was also accused of being wildly anti-Semitic, and beyond that, a supporter of the Nazi Party. 1 month after Kristallnacht, a turning point in Nazi Germany, Walt Disney welcomed a prominent Nazi film director into his studios. He welcomed her. Disney often stereotypes Jewish characters. Look at this from the Three Little Pigs. The big bad wolf disguises himself as a Jewish character, which, I know it was a different time, but also, check out what Daffy Duck is up to here. Oh my god. Whatever statement Disney was making, is it appropriate to dress a kid's cartoon character up as a Nazi? I'm gonna go with no. Coming into number 4, we have cancer. So the original Disneyland in Anaheim, California opened in 1955, a time when lead as a building material was a-okay. Now, 63 years on, we're not so gung-ho with the cancer-causing element. There are excessive levels of lead in commonly touched objects in Disneyland, including the brass doorknobs at Minnie's house, the fixtures and fittings in Cinderella's castle, the sword in the Sword in the Stone attraction. If you go to Disneyland in California, you will likely come across a number of signs that warn the magical kingdom is home to chemicals that cause cancer and birth defects, as well as reproductive harm. Scary. Coming into number 3, we have the princess who assisted murder. In 2008, Rachel Mae Buffet was a former Disney princess and found guilty of helping her fiancé cover up a murder. The pretty blonde ex-princess played characters including Ariel at Disneyland in Anaheim, conducting meet and greets with children and joining in parades. Despite her humble day job, Buffet was an accessory to murder when her lover Daniel Wazonek murdered Samuel Herr and Julie Kibishi. This happened in 2015, and apparently he was aiming to steal $62,000 from the Army veteran in order to pay for their wedding. Now, Wozniak has been sentenced to death, but the disgraced princess will spend just 3.5 years in jail for being an accessory to murder. Back to Disneyland at number 2, one ride takes you to hell. Disney doesn't make them like you used to. Back when Disneyland opened in 1955, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was one of the first attractions to open. We all know Mr. Toad from The Wind in the Willows, but it seemed the speed-loving amphibian and all that ride is attraction are destined for hell. On the ride, revelers are sent through a demon's jaw into the fiery pits of hell, which, considering the ride is in the so-called kid-friendly Fantasyland, I'm a little bit shocked. In case you are looking to confirm Mr. Toad's status, his gravestone can be found in the pet cemetery at the Haunted Mansion. Speaking of the Haunted Mansion, finally at number 1 we have the Ashes Dump. It seems that Disneyland is a very popular spot for people to request their ashes be spread. I kinda get that, it is the happiest place on earth and everything. But what I do find strange is within that, people seem to really want to have their ashes spread in one spot more than others. The Haunted Mansion. Is it so that the departed can dance in the ghost ball with the rest of the undead? Maybe. One woman was spotted trying to offload ashes at Disneyland in 2007. Now apparently the Haunted Mansion ride is haunted by the ghost of a little boy who managed to have his ashes successfully spread there. He's also been spotted on the nearby Pirates of the Caribbean ride. True story, or simply urban legend. So guys, that was the top 10 scary facts about Disney. Which did you think was the scariest? Let me know in the comments section down below. Before I go, I want to read the somewhat related comments from our top 10 Disney urban legends. You guys had a lot to say. Blair Sheffer said, and the scariest ride is It's a Small World. I honestly do believe those dolls are definitely haunted possessed. Well, they are for sure creepy as hell to say the least. Honestly, I agree with you. I can't think of anything worse than getting stuck in that ride. It's a small world after all. tiny dolls. Hard no from me. Winter Dragon wrote, wait, Tower of Terror is being torn down? I'm glad I rode it when I went years ago. Yep, honestly, that ride has gone. Tim Zielinski wrote, Disney has 6 letters, Land has 4 letters, 6 plus 4 equals 10. Disney World has 11 letters, 10 minus 11 equals 1, and the Illuminati has 1 eye, so Illuminati confirmed. Whew! Honestly, you might be clutching at straws there, but maybe you're onto something. I don't know. I think it's honestly time for me to get out of here though, now that the Illuminati has been mentioned. Thank you guys for watching this video. Once again, do let me know what you thought the scariest Disneyland fact was, and I will look forward to reading them. I'm your host, Rebecca Felgate, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!